Coach Condict, you said that Tulsa East Central would be one of the toughest football teams you played all season. Do you still feel that way?
Well, of course, we'd like to think so, and I really do believe that physically they're going to be as good as anybody in our class. They're one of the top-ranked teams in 5A. Athletically, they're just very difficult to match up with. I think they have near 1,200 kids in high school, so it's a big school, have a quality program, and very very good football team.
You seemed to be in the ball game for 4 quarters, really. It just didn't get out of hand till near the end, but you had your opportunities to change it around. What happened?
Well, turnovers, and we talked about that going into the ball game all week with our players. To beat a team like that, you just when you have opportunities to score and you get in the red zone, you have to take advantage of them. And we missed too many opportunities, and came up short 2 or 3 times that really could have put us in the game and even ahead at a couple points. So. A couple of events there happened right before the half with a turnover that gave them a score, and really instead of a 3-0 lead, they go in with a 9-0 lead, and then we squander another opportunity to make it or 2 more chances to make it 9-7. Yeah. To get within 1 score.
Sure.
And it really changes a game if you get within 1 score. The other team will start thinking, coaches start thinking about the fact that if we mess up now, we're liable to get beat. So we never could get. Get things lined out in the red zone, and that's something that we've talked about all week, and the turnover problem, and hopefully after addressing it all week, those things are going to improve.
You were so close. I mean, passes were there at times, and sometimes they weren't, but they were there, and you did have the opportunity, and just with the right bounce of the ball, it could have been a different ball game.
Well, it just goes to show we had yardage. We did fine between the 20s. Our yardage and East Central's yardage was very comparable. But, how you perform from the 20 on in is really what matters. The fun stuff can happen in between, but if it doesn't turn into points, then it's a lot of times for naught. And, that's what happened to us. And not only were there turnovers, they seemed like, the interceptions we had, they ran way back, and there's just a huge change in field position. And really 4 or 5 plays that probably could have made all the difference in the ball game, at least with us having an opportunity late in the game to win.
Enough for last week. We want to talk about this week, and we'll be back in just a moment. This is championship football, high school football on Okie Country 101.7 KTFX. Coach, you've had your share of championship teams while you've been here, the Bulldog coach.
Well, and it's been a great run already. 4 years. This is the 5th year now that I've had the opportunity to coach at Wagoner. And we knew going into this season we'd have a very young team. We've probably progressed in some areas a little quicker than we thought, and then still have some areas we really need to work on, but I think the potential's there for us to have a really good football team. We go against a very stubborn, feisty bunch tonight over at Muldrow, and feel like if we'll go over and play our game, then we'll have a great chance to win. If we go over and turn the ball over to them, give them more opportunities than we should, and just don't get after it, then we're liable to get beat. The game came down to basically last play of the game last year, and we were able to squeak the thing out. But they have a lot of good players coming back from that team, and obviously we lost a lot of good players.
Yes.
And being a young team, we need to get off to a good start here in district play. So. It's very important that we go over and play well, get a win, and get off on the right foot in 4A4 football.
With Junkin, he looked last year like a potential pro player at one time, and maybe a big college football player as well. Do you still have that kind of confidence in him? And he's coming along this year, isn't he?
Oh, there's no doubt that we have all the faith in the world in Prince. He's had moments of greatness already. It's just there's still some inconsistency there that comes with us putting a lot more pressure on him this year, running a lot of new things on offense, and some of the turnovers that happened last week were things that he would like to change, and some of them were things that other players could change. There's sometimes that people don't see all the story that occurs on a Friday night and why things happen the way they do, but there's no doubt no one's going to be harder on Prince than Prince. So, I expect him to have a great ball game tonight. Learn from the few mistakes he did have, because he threw some great balls during that game to get us in position to score. So, without him, there probably might not have been an opportunity to turn the ball over down in the red zone. So he's definitely our guy. We've told him that. He knows that. His coaches and teammates have full confidence that he can get the job done.
I've got a question for you. How has Jeremy Applegate done? He was playing with his brother last year, and I tell you, both of them did you a great job. Brother went on, he's graduated now. How has things changed for Applegate since his brother's not there? He's the only Applegate on the team, I guess.
Jeremy, he's actually a very quiet kid. And I know he doesn't play that way, but he is.
No, he doesn't.
He's a very quiet kid. Now his brother is actually they had planned on redshirting him at UCO, but he's done so well they pulled the red shirt, and he's getting to play some and playing some special teams and things like that. So he's doing a great job and making us proud there with what he's doing at UCO. But Jeremy, we have big plans for Jeremy, and obviously the name Applegate brings a smile to our face when we talk about them, because they're not only are they great football players, they're the kind that they're at practice every day. They're going to practice hard every play, and you know exactly what you're going to get with them. You don't have a game where they're not going to come to play. They love the game of football. They play it the way it ought to be played. So he's definitely improving. Had a really good ball game running the ball last week. I think he had 70 or 80 yards rushing on about 14 carries and made some really good runs. He has good open field speed. And just like all young running backs, he's still learning the blocking end of things. In junior high football, a kid like that carries the ball about every play. So learning to block is new for him. So, but he's the kind that's determined to do things right. So we expect that those things will improve. And defensively, he's just like we expected. He's playing really well.
We're going out of town. We're playing over at Muldrow, and they're tough. Like you said, they beat us last year, and all. What do you have to do when you go over there to beat those folks? I know they got two quarterbacks, and I'm not sure whether the starting quarterback's going to play or not. Have you heard?
Well, we think the coach's son, it sounds like, is still going to be out a couple weeks. Had a collarbone injury early in the season, and you hate to hear that. I was a coach's son and got a knee injury my senior year and missed a few games, and you never want to see that. We would probably just as soon him be playing tonight. But, still yet you expect a hard-fought game. They've played 3 games without him and won all 3. They're 3-0 coming into this game and playing really well. They play hard. They play in a way I think that's a compliment to their coaching staff. You can tell that they're really buying in to what their coaches are telling them and teaching them. So we have to get off to a good start. We need to have some things go good early. And if we get into a rhythm of the things that we like to do, especially on offense, then it's going to be a good night for us. Now, if we don't, we start struggling early and we turn the ball over a little, or we're just some 3-and-outs and sporadic, then defensively they can make it a long night.
No turnovers there.
I've said that a few times, but it's just so critical in a football game. And they're the type of team, though. They blitz a lot, they move people around a lot, and they can really give you trouble with the things they do on defense if you're not ready to play.
How about special teams? How important is that in this game?
Well, we've really preached hard from day one that we have got to be good in special teams because we have the potential to be. We have kids that can be good return people. We have good coverage people for our kick and punt teams, and we just have the type of athletes this year. We feel like we should be one of the better teams around in special teams, and we're playing well. We're still not to the point where we want to be. We need to field punts better. We got to get a little more consistent with our kicking game as far as our kickoffs and our field goals. We have made a couple. We missed one last week that we sure would like to have back. So there's still some things that can work on, but Jordan Robinson has a great punting average right now. Our punt coverage has been great, and return game on our kicking game has been good. But again, still some things we can improve on. So yeah, they're always really. Special teams are sometimes overlooked how important they are.
I noticed there was a sign that says special teams will win or lose a game for us this year. You're sold on that?
Yeah, I think there's most seasons you can look back and say either a blocked punt. Last year I honestly believe if we don't get the punt blocked against Broken Bow, we win that game, and it could have totally changed how we ended up in our district. So. Just a little play, blocked punt, a missed extra point. How many times do you see a game 21-20 or